In 2 Corinthians 5, Paul is unpacking the implications of the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. And he turns to the members of the Corinthian church. Now, remember what I just said. The members of the Corinthian church, these are believers. And he says, don't ever stop. I'm not going to ever stop making this appeal. Be reconciled to God. Be reconciled to God. Now think about this, you theologians, for a moment. What does it mean for a believer to be reconciled to God? I thought a believer was already reconciled to God. What in the world is Paul talking about? You need to put that in your theological pipe and smoke it. Or if that offends you, get out this theological gum and chew it. You need to understand what it means to say to a believer, be reconciled to God. Well, here's what makes sense out of that. That's verse 20. In verse 15, Paul says this, the love of Christ constrains us, because one died for all, therefore all died, and he died for all. Now listen to this, so that those who live would no longer live for themselves. That's what sin does to me. Sin does make me forget God, forget His glory, forget His existence, put myself in the center of my world and live for me. And so when he says be reconciled to God, what he's saying is, to the degree that as a believer, you're still living for things other than God, to the degree that your heart is ruled by things in the creation rather than being ruled by God, to that degree you need to be further reconciled to God, because nothing is to rule your heart other than King Christ. Now, in saying all of that, let me get to the bottom line here. What Paul is saying is this: don't you understand that everything in your life is vertical? There's nothing in your life that's purely horizontal. Even your sexual life, as private and intimate as that is, has got verticality to it. Your every use of every dollar has verticality to it. Don't you understand that these things, hear what I'm about to say, are never, ever solved horizontally? They're never solved horizontally. You never solve sexual problems by moving to a different city. You never solve the deeper issues of sexuality by selling your television. Because the fact that those things have become problems, the fact that your location has become a problem, the fact that your television has become a problem, the fact that your computer has become a problem is not the problem with those things. Those things aren't evil in and of themselves. The problem is something is going on inside of you that causes you to use those things in a way other than what God intended. And so, if you're trying to help a friend, if you're trying to serve someone in ministry, if you're counseling your children, it's not enough to help them to make those kinds of decisions, because the problem is not just a horizontal problem. The problem is a vertical problem. And so Paul summarizes in this way: the ultimate solution to all of that is be reconciled to God. It's only when God is in His rightful place in all of those areas of my life that my body will be in its right place according to God's plan.